There were moments of creativity and chaos throughout Sunday's game. Fake field goal runs and defensive lineman interceptions stole headlines. But those plays did not decide the outcome. The game ultimately came down to missed chances. The Cowboys failed repeatedly when it mattered most. Offense, defense, and special teams all shared responsibility. Each unit had opportunities to swing momentum. Instead, critical mistakes piled up. The result was another frustrating loss. Execution vanished in key moments. Third down became the central issue. Dallas struggled to sustain drives. Stops were not capitalized on. Field position was repeatedly lost. Momentum constantly shifted away. These were not highlight reel mistakes. They were subtle but damaging decisions. Moments that may fade from memory. Yet they shaped the final score. 5 plays tell that story clearly. Each moment reflected a larger problem. Poor situational awareness, lack of execution, failure under pressure, and an inability to finish. A punt that changed the field. The first key moment came early. Dallas had just forced a defensive stop. They were leading 7-0. Field position favored the Cowboys. Momentum was firmly on their side. Cavani Turpin had a decision to make. The punt bounced at the 27-yard line. Instead of securing it, Turpin let it roll. The ball bounced all the way to the 3-yard line. The field flipped instantly. That decision changed everything. Dallas was pinned deep in its own territory. The offense shifted into conservative mode. 3 plays later, they were punting. Opportunity wasted. Minnesota received the ball near midfield. This time, the Vikings capitalized. They moved quickly down the field. The drive ended in a touchdown. The game was suddenly tied. One choice altered the flow. What could have been an advantage disappeared. Special teams failed to execute. Momentum was handed away, and the Cowboys paid for it. McCarthy's third down escape. The second pivotal moment came in the red zone. Dallas led 14-7 in the second quarter. Minnesota faced third and goal from the 9. The Cowboys were one stop away. A field goal seemed likely. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy dropped back. No receiver came open. Pressure did not arrive. McCarthy took off up the middle. He scrambled for 8 yards. That run changed the decision-making. Instead of settling for 3 points, the Vikings stayed aggressive. They kept the offense on the field. Dallas failed to finish the stop. On the next play, McCarthy fooled everyone. He bootlegged toward the edge. The Cowboys' defense bit inside. McCarthy danced into the end zone. The score was tied. Without that third down gain, Minnesota likely kicks a field goal. Instead, Dallas surrendered 7 points. Another failure to close out a drive. Another missed opportunity. Fourth down, no pressure. The third quarter brought another costly lapse. Dallas held Minnesota out of the end zone. The Vikings trailed by 6 points. They reached the Cowboys' 37-yard line. 4th and 3 became the moment. The defense needed one play. Pressure would have ended the drive. Instead, McCarthy stood comfortably in the pocket. No rusher disrupted his timing. Coverage could not hold. McCarthy fired a strike to Jalen Nailor. The pass gained 23 yards. The ball landed at the Dallas 14. A massive conversion. Momentum swung immediately. That stop would have been huge. Instead, Minnesota entered the red zone. The Cowboys' defense unraveled. An illegal contact penalty followed. The drive ended in a touchdown. Another third down failure loomed large. Execution broke down again. The defense could not finish. And the Vikings took the lead. Dallas watched control slip away. Prescott takes a costly sack. Early in the fourth quarter, Dallas still had hope. They trailed by just 1 point. The offense reached Minnesota's 37-yard line. 3rd and 4 offered a chance. Momentum hung in the balance. The Cowboys needed a conversion. Instead, protection collapsed. Dak Prescott hesitated. He was sacked for a 4-yard loss. The situation worsened instantly. The sack pushed Dallas backward. What could have been manageable became a 59-yard field goal attempt. Brandon Aubrey had already missed earlier. Pressure mounted again. Aubrey's kick sailed wide right. Another chance disappeared. Points were left on the field. Third down failure struck again. The pattern continued. Dallas finished the game 2 of 12 on third down. That statistic defined the night. Execution repeatedly failed. Key moments slipped away. Winning football was nowhere to be found. The final blow came shortly after. Dallas trailed by 8 points. Special teams finally provided a spark. Turpin returned the kickoff 55 yards. The stadium came alive. But the excitement was short-lived. A holding penalty was called. C.J. Goodwin was flagged. The return was erased. Momentum vanished again. The offense attempted to recover. Dallas moved closer to midfield. A first down run by Malik Davis broke free. Another holding penalty appeared. Hakeem Adeniji was called. Once again, a positive play disappeared. The Cowboys moved backward. Yardage had to be regained. Time continued to drain. Pressure increased. Dallas could not recover those yards. They fell 1 yard short on fourth down. The drive ended. Another opportunity lost. Another self-inflicted wound. Third down tells the full story. Third down failures define the game. The Cowboys never found rhythm. Drives stalled repeatedly. Momentum never built. Confidence eroded with each miss. Offensive struggles were constant. Protection failed at critical times. Routes did not develop. Decision-making suffered. Execution broke down. Defensively, stops were incomplete. Third downs extended drives. Fourth down conversions followed. Penalties compounded mistakes. Field position flipped repeatedly. Special teams added to the problem. Poor decisions. Costly penalties. Missed chances. Nothing came easy. Winning teams convert on third down. Dallas did not. The Vikings did. That difference decided the game. Statistics told the truth. Missed chances pile up. No single play lost the game. But each mistake added weight. Each failure reduced margin for error. Opportunities vanished one by one. Pressure mounted relentlessly. The Cowboys repeatedly stood at the edge. One play away from control. One stop from momentum. One conversion from belief. They never delivered. Field position was lost. Points were missed. Drives were erased by penalties. Third downs went unconverted. Execution failed across units. Minnesota capitalized when given chances. Dallas did not. That contrast defined the outcome. The Vikings seized momentum. The Cowboys surrendered it. In close games, details matter. Sunday proved that again. The Cowboys lacked precision. Mistakes were punished. And the result reflected it. A familiar pattern emerges. This was not an isolated issue. Third down struggles have surfaced before. Execution lapses remain a concern. Discipline continues to be tested. The pattern feels familiar. The Cowboys show flashes of potential. Talent is evident. Moments of brilliance appear. But consistency remains elusive. Mistakes overshadow positives. Coaches will dissect film carefully. Players will shoulder responsibility. Adjustments must be made. Situational football must improve. There is no shortcut. Close games demand precision. Dallas failed that test. Small moments mattered. They were not won. And the outcome followed. If changes do not come, results will remain the same. Third downs will haunt them. Opportunities will vanish. And frustration will continue. 5 forgotten plays, 1 costly loss. These 5 plays may fade from memory. They were not spectacular mistakes, but they carried massive weight. Each altered the game's trajectory. Together, they sealed the outcome. A punt not fielded. A scramble allowed. A fourth down conversion surrendered. A sack taken. Penalties that erased hope. Each moment told the same story. Failure to execute under pressure. Lack of situational awareness. Discipline breaking down. Opportunities slipping away. The Cowboys had chances. They did not take them. Minnesota did. That was the difference. The scoreboard reflected it. Until third down execution improves, these stories will repeat. Different opponents. Same outcome. And the same frustrations will remain.